Welcome back to PowerPointer 257 C++ tutorial series. In this video, I just wanted to follow up on my for loops video because I felt like even though I explained the concept of the for loop, I felt like the example that I gave you was just the most basic example. And even though that's probably the example that you're going to use the most, what I mean is when I type in, and I is equal to 0, right? I is say is less than 10 and I plus plus, right? Granted, this is probably how you're going to use your for loop most often, especially on a beginner level, starting from 0 and setting it less than whatever. We're just going to use the number 10, but this a lot of times would be, your array size, the size of your array or whatever. But I just wanted to give you a couple more examples just to show you kind of like that, you don't have to, when I say increment, you're increasing your variable, in this case I, it doesn't have to only be I plus plus, and it doesn't have to be set equal to 0, right? And so for example, just a quick example, right? What I mean by this is if we had an array x is equal to 0, remember how we could easily print out x, right? And then we could increment it, right? So this is gonna print out, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through 9, right? When we run this, yeah, and it prints everywhere from 0 to 9. But vice versa, it would actually be perfectly valid to go I is equal to 10, and then change this to I is greater than 0, right? And decrement this. And we're actually, when we run this, we see that we're actually going to get the same result, right? Because when we're setting our variables equal to certain values, right? The variable in this case that we're using I, right? We're really just trying to. The point of a for loop is to execute a segment of code to iterate over that a finite or a certain amount of times, right? That you can specify. And it doesn't always need to be specified by, starting from 0 and going less than a certain number. And in fact, in certain situations, right, it might actually help you to start from say like a higher number and go down. And I'll give you an example. Also really quickly, like it doesn't have to be let's start from 0 and go say less than 7, right? But it doesn't always have to be incremented or decremented using the plus plus or minus minus. We can technically say I is plus equals to 2 every time, right? And what's this going to print out? When we run this, we'll see that it prints out 1, 2, 3, because what happened is, so it printed out x as 0 when I was 0, and then it didn't increment it by just 1, but we said it's going to be equal to 2. We incremented it by 2. We're incrementing it by 2 every time. So the second time it's equal to 2, and then we incremented the x by 1. So then that's why it prints out 1. But then we incremented the I by 2 more, so now it's 4, even though the x is 2, right? Then incremented by 2 again, so it was 6. And remember, and then by the time we incremented it in the fourth time around, or after the fourth time around rather, I is then equal to 8, and remember the middle condition is no longer true, so then it doesn't evaluate the loop anymore. And so that's why we get 0, 1, 2, 3, right? If we were to change this to 9, right, we would get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I just wanted to show you guys that it doesn't always have to be as black and white as, I plus plus or I minus minus, and it doesn't always have to be from 0 to whatever number. And like I said, I know we haven't gotten into arrays yet, we're about to, but I'll just give you a quick example of when you might want to change up to not start from 0, right? And let's say we had an array, and like I said, it might almost be good to go watch the array videos just before we get into loops, because one of the major applications of loops is just manipulating arrays, right? And so in this case, let's say that we wanted to move every element in this array over 1, including the last one, and then we wanted the last element to become our first element, right? So after this, right, we want our new array to be equal to, let's say, this is what we want it equal to, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. You see what we did? We moved the last element to the first, and then we moved the first 4 all over 1, right? And so we haven't gotten into functions, so I won't pass this into a function, but this is kind of similar to what we would do, right? We would probably pass in the size to a function, for those of you who know about functions, right? If we were gonna try to make a function called move right, and we want to move everything down 1, but just for the sake of staying in the main function, this is what we're gonna do, right? We're gonna set a variable int temp, and we're going to actually set this equal to our last variable, which is r of 4, right? If we passed in size, we would say equal to size, the r of size, and let's say when size was 5, right, we would say size minus 1. For this sake of this, we're just going to keep this, we're just going to keep it simple, say r of 4, right? And so now comes our loop, right? And so think of what we actually want to do with our loop. We want to move everything over 1, and this is when it might actually be simpler to work from the top down, meaning we're going to set int I, instead of it saying equal to 4 or 0, we're going to set it equal to 4, the last element in the array. And we're going to run this until I is greater than 0. And we're going to gradually decrement I, right? And so what we're going to do, we're going to say r of I is equal to r of I minus 1. And so think of what we're gradually doing here. So we start with the fourth element of the array, which is this last element, right? Because its arrays are 0 indexed, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So we start here, and so we're saying set r of 4 equal to r of 3, because I is 4 in this case. 4 minus 1 is 3. And so we're saying r of 4 is equal to, which is 5, is now equal to 4. So and then the next time around, because we're decrementing I, we say r of 3, which is 4, is equal to r of 2, right? And we're going to do this all the way up until r of 1, which is this, is equal to r of 0. And then we're at the end, we're just outside of the loop. We're gonna say r of 0 is equal to temp, right? Because we stored that value in this variable. And so then I'm just going to iterate through this to print int I is equal to 0, I is less than 5, I plus plus, and we're just going to print out this array. I'm going to space this out just a little bit to make it a little more readable. See out r of I, and we're going to see that we're going to get what we want, right? We're going to get 5, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that was just a quick little example. I just wanted to emphasize that when working with for loops, I want you guys to gauge the concept more than anything. So it doesn't always have to be right. Start with 0 and through the last size of your array. You can start from the back and work downwards, right? Or it doesn't always have to be plus plus. It could be plus equals to 2 or whatever. I just wanted to emphasize those. So that's why if you want to go back to my first video and talk about the original concept, which is just initialization, right? That could be anything. The condition could be anything, and incrementing or decrementing, it doesn't just have to be by 1. It could be by any value. But yeah, until next time, guys, keep programming, keep having fun, and take care, guys. Peace.